All right. We're ready? Got the thumbs up. Yay. All right. Welcome on this Sunday evening to the Wine Cellar. We are broadcasting live tonight, doing some music for the Cave Collective and the Story and Song series. Story and Song series. My name is Marnie Cook. I'm so glad to be here tonight. I'm going to be playing some originals and then a couple of covers too. All right, so I hope everybody's had a good year. It's been a little rough. I know, that's an understatement. And so for myself, I got let go from my 30-plus year career, pretty much right before COVID. So COVID actually made me feel better about just hanging out. But actually, I wrote this song. It's called Charms of an Easy Life. I wrote it actually at another time when I thought I was going to leave radio, longtime broadcaster. And that was 18 years. It was 18 years in as a broadcaster, so that's what this song is. And I'd seen this movie called Charms of an Easy Life with, I think it was Jenna Rollins and Mimi Rogers. That's what it was. So I was inspired. "18 years in a kicking ass, feel like my sense of adventure is back. Looking for the charms of an easy life, take me out and fly me a kite. Strolling down a country road in the moonlight, want the charms of an easy life. Give me the charms of an easy life. Need the charms of an easy life." Uncle Sam's in the back door and the banker's out the front. He's feeling bent over and in between. Now I'm looking for the charms of an easy life. Take me out summer night, sipping on a chai lying by the riverside. Want the charms of an easy life. Give me the charms of an easy life. Need the charms of an easy life. "18 years in a kick in the ass, this time I think I'll pass. Sitting here chewing on a blade of grass. Want the charms of an easy life. Give me the charms of an easy life. Found me the charms of an easy life." All right. Thank you. Yeah, that was one of my many dreams of leaving radio. And I probably shouldn't complain because I had a 30-plus year career when a lot of people were actually losing their jobs in broadcasting because of deregulation. All right. Let's see here. Let me find this one here. So I'm originally from South Dakota. I'm an enrolled member of the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe. And went to school here at Canyon Lake, first grade. And I went to school in Vermilion, and we were kind of crisscrossing the state everywhere. So when I moved back, I wrote a whole bunch of songs. Well, I wrote 8 songs, and produced an album. It's called Miles and Miles. All right, and this is one of those songs. It's called Highway 44. My mother actually lives off of Highway 44 West. So when I moved back, I was actually living, kind of like that charmed life, living in the basement of my mother's house, writing some songs about, heading out. So I had spoken to Bernie Hunhoff from South Dakota magazine. And he was really digging the album and digging the songs. And he was the one who said, Highway 44, that's the road that travels through the entire state. So I always think about Bernie then. when I play this song. I'm gonna go, just fly away from here. It's time to go. Highway 44 is under me when you're sleeping and I'm watching you. I'll remember your smile and the touch of your hand. I don't know what tomorrow has in store. Gotta believe that there's something more. When I'm dreaming of possibilities, I'll remember your smile and the touch of your hand. Morning come, thoughts fresh turn to ash. I'll remember soon, or perhaps learn to forget. Do 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 do, do do do, do do do, do do do. I'll remember your smile and the touch of your hand. All right, thank you. Thank you very much. All right, let's see here. As I said, I was in radio for a very long time. And early in my career, I was down in Tri-Cities, Washington. Excuse me. That, in fact, I think was my my first full-time job. Hang on a sec here. All right. My first full-time job down in Tri-Cities, Washington. It's just south of the Gorge at George, which is kind of a famous place to go and see concerts. It's a winery. And so I worked at a country station, and we were all from other places, and we were all new in our careers. And so, you know, at the smaller stations, you know, it's kind of a mishmash of stuff. So I had heard that Stevie Ray Vaughan and John Hyatt and Robert Cray were all going to be up at the Gorge at George. So I asked the sales manager, and he was a total sales manager. So he went and got us some tickets, and we had to play a whole bunch of commercials, of course, on our country station, which sounded really strange. As you can imagine, you know, Robert Cray and Stevie Ray Vaughan, not part of our playlist. Though that was like at the beginning of Garth Brooks' career, you know. So we ended up going to the concert. It was a really great concert, but that was the last time that they let you order bottles. I think you could order 3 to 6 bottles per person. I can't remember which it was. Maybe it was 4. And we had like 10 people with us, so we ended up getting a lot of bottles. It was a really good concert, but yeah, the farmers, we went home like good people, but a lot of people didn't. They couldn't find their way out of the winery. So It was like a little Woodstock. Anyway, yeah, so one of my favorite songwriters, John Hyatt. He opened for that concert. All right, had to change my harmony singers. Okay, so he wrote this song about he's from South Carolina. So he wrote this song about taking the rebel flag down. Take everything we had, take it and burn it to the ground. Some things were never meant to last. Take it down, 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 take it down. Take it down, down, down. Take it down. I'm still married to it all. It ain't no place to hang around. My love is 50 feet tall. Take it down, down, down. Take it down. Take it down, 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 take it down. Grown accustomed to the way you hurled us into space, I'll never make that trip. Tears are rusted down my face, I'm just an empty place. Your love used to fit. South Carolina, where are you? The once were lost, now we are found. War is over, the battle is through. Take it down, down, down. Take it down. 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 Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, so that again is a John Hyatt song, Take It Down. All right, let's see here. So next I've got one of mine. Let me find that here. All right, so I wrote this song with Paul Peterson when I first moved back about the Missouri River and its importance in Sioux culture, in Lakota culture. Our stories that we tell ourselves have us on the Missouri for thousands of years. We've lived on the Missouri in our own stories for thousands of years. And our creation stories begin right here in the Black Hills. And And a lot of plants, a lot of important plants used to grow along the Missouri before it was rerouted, and a lot of those plants can't be found anymore. You can still find the cottonwood, however. Grows along the banks. Really important for Sioux culture. In the Sundance, you want to pick a cottonwood that has two arms going out in opposing directions, and it represents the duality in life for the Sioux. And it's said that when you cut off one of those arms, inside you find the pattern of a perfect star. And that reminds us of when we are star people. I remember cotton floating by like slow motion through the sky. Loneliness makes me that way. The Columbia was cold year-round since I got back to town. See how you guys think the same. Barbed wire for miles and miles. Clapboard shacks and roadhouse smiles. Where would I go if you were down the road a ways? On and on together now. The Missouri welcomed me back home with the mud between my toes, electric poles for miles and miles. Don't wanna be like those trees rising from the muddy deep. Life's so long living that way. Barbed wire for miles and miles. Clapboard shacks and roadhouse smiles. Where would I go if you were down the road a ways? On and on together now. Warm Missouri, won't you wash over me? Wrap me up, hold on. Barbed wire for miles and miles. Clapboard shacks and roadhouse smiles. Where would I go if you were down the road a ways? On and on together now. Warm Missouri, wash over me. Together now. All right, thank you. All right. What have I got coming up? All right. You know, I never know what's worse, if there's just like 4 people staring at you or or 12,000. I'm never sure. I made notes for myself because I couldn't make files in my my thing here. So hang on a sec. All right. So this next song is actually. And I play a lot of stuff that I wish I could write. I'll admit. Because this is a song by a British rock band named Marillion, and they wrote this song based on a William Butler Yeats poem about the April uprising in Ireland in 1916. So I just thought it was an interesting way to write a song. A rock band wrote a song based on a Yeats poem about an actual event that happened almost 100 years ago. So, not a good event, I should say, because it was a pushback by the Irish against the British, and so it was an uprising, and it was unsuccessful. So most of the Irish that were involved were executed. So, you know, when we think about fighting for things, fighting for freedom and such. Okay, I need to get. All right, so this is called Easter. Ghost of a mist was on the field, gray and the green together. Noise of a distant farm machine, out of the first light came. Tattered necklace of hedge and trees on the southern side of the hill. Betrays where the border runs between where married a newsboy fell. Easter, here again, it's time for the blind to see. Easter, surely now can all of your hearts be free. Out of the port of Liverpool, bound for the north of Ireland. Wash of the spray and horsetail waves, roll of the sea below. Easter, here again, it's time for the blind to see. Easter, surely now can all of your hearts be free. Ghost of a mist was on the field, gray and the green together. Noise of a distant farm machine, out of the first light came. Tattered necklace of hedge and trees on the southern side of the hill. Betrays where the border runs between where married a newsboy fell. All right. Thank you. What have we got going on here? Okay. All right, so I was trying to get this new song. It's actually not a new song. It's an old song that was I couldn't get it written. I don't know if you're familiar with, you know, trying to finish a song and you're like on the 10th verse, you know, and you just have to get the song done. So that's what happened to this song. And then it took me all year to get it licensed because of COVID. right, so it's available now on Spotify and iTunes. And it's called Travelin' On, or She Never Minded Her Quiet Time. That would be a little high. All right, here we go. Do 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 do. She never minded her quiet time. Is this what life had for her in mind? Moments spent in contemplation, those echoes of memory. Oh, scattered books and magazines. Her life, it seemed, was in dreams. Oil lamps burning, pages turning, dreaming on and on. Oh, always drawing the line, never sharing or daring, fearing what she might find, what she might leave behind. Do 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 do. Times a warm wind blowing, the tracks of life follow behind, weaving, sometimes lingering, always traveling on. Oh, traveling on. Do do do. All right. I think that's everything. I usually say before my last song that it's my last song. I forgot that part. All right, thank you so much. Are we going to wrap it up? Should I wrap it up here? We're going to go this way? Yeah. All right, thank you so much for letting me play, you guys.
We're going to jump over this direction and have a little chat, if that's all right with you. That was awesome.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah,
It's so great to finally meet you.
I know we've been social media friends for some time, but it's always neat to put a half face to a name. Is what I've been telling people as the whole world has changed on us in the last year. These story and song series have been a really unique opportunity for me to continue to see people and to create something in a space where, in many ways, we've had a lot of time to create, but not all of us have used that time, and sometimes it's felt almost overwhelming and suffocating to be given this time that we aren't sure what to do with.
Sure, how true.
Yeah, and so I wondered a little bit. There were a couple common threads that I noticed throughout your music, and I'm a writer, and so for me, I'm always looking for these ties that kind of bring our stories full circle. You talked a little bit about Highway 44 and how it crosses the state, and then you talked about the Missouri River, and sort of the significance of those things to your story and Lakota culture. And then you talked about traveling and coming back and coming. So tell me a little bit about what this place, the Black Hills, means to you and why you've maybe found yourself here.
I'll be honest. I grew up in South Dakota, so I had vowed that I would never come back.
Right. Yeah, we all do.
Yeah. A lot of racism here, and so that was one of the reasons why I vowed I would never come back. But it's home, obviously, and when you're younger, you don't really those ties maybe aren't as, you're sort of supposed to go out and seek new things. And so my mother had actually come back because she retired, and she always wanted to come back to the Black Hills. So that's actually what brought me back, was she was back here, and then I had this lull in my career at the 18-year mark, that 18 years song, Charms of an Easy Life. So that's about when I moved back here, and I was just going to stay for the summer, and I was going to leave. But
yeah, I also temporarily moved here about 17 years ago this summer. So maybe at that 18-year mark, something will change for me. But radio was a big part of your life. Yeah. And radio's changed a lot in the last 5 years, decade, 20 years.
Even in the period that I was, I entered radio actually just about the time that everything we know about it was becoming very nichey, the perks of being able to go backstage and meet everybody, or do your interviews even, every day in the old days you'd do an interview with, some rocker, but that kind of stopped,
Yeah, and so, radio's kind of changed. Music keeps changing, but it kind of maintains its importance. I don't know anybody who doesn't love music in some capacity. But with the way that the industry has changed and the process of getting heard and getting out there, what would you say to some of our young people that watched this and maybe are compelled by your background, as well as how do they even start? What matters anymore in music? And
I think you actually have to tell yourself that you're not going to be. Who knows if you're going to be a star or not? But you shouldn't do it to be a star. I started out playing flute, and I loved to play, and I could play by ear. So I was playing, all the Jethro Tull and stuff like that. So by myself, there was nobody to play with. So I just kept on playing, and then eventually I started playing guitar because I wanted to accompany myself. And so I think perseverance. I have terrible stage fright, actually.
Really?
Debilitating stage fright, and so for the longest time I couldn't actually play in front of anybody. I would literally play in my closet. But it was strange because in radio I could get out in front of 10,000 people and make an announcement of some sort. But
it wasn't you.
Well, yeah, it was me. It was just, it's different than playing, I suppose, or singing or something,
Well, there is a certain, transparency and vulnerability, especially when you're singing original pieces.
Yes.
There is music that connects so much with our souls, even if we didn't write it. Like you kind of mentioned with some of the pieces that you played, that John Hyatt song is one of my absolute favorites.
Yes.
And but when we write our own things, I think about, I'm not a musician at all. I have not a musical bone in my body, but a lot of appreciation. But as a poet and a writer, anything that I have to perform or speak or say or do, it's so raw and vulnerable, and there's a certain stage fright, and I'm not a stage frighty person. I'm pretty confident and I like talking to people, but a lot of the music that you wrote, I could sense had a depth to it, a transparency, and what do you think that balance is as we share with musically? How transparent do you be? What works for you?
Oh, wow. I don't know. I'm most of the time I don't really get this kind of venue. I'm playing covers usually somewhere. So, people are maybe listening and chatting, and, so there's not really a lot of sharing, I suppose, of my person that way, and occasionally I'll have an audience and they're asking for originals. And so then you kind of get intimate maybe and share stories, but ask them too, as you're talking to them. That's what I do. Anyway.
It's a conversation.
Totally.
Well, and I think that's been the hope of this series too, is that, not only do we want to value local musicians and original music, because it is a hard thing to break into. It is a terrifying thing to get on stage and offer a piece of yourself, authentically and originally. And so the Cave Collective's mission really is to not only honor that music and those musicians, but to extend an invitation to an audience to have that conversation, to understand what's behind the music and why people are compelled to perform, to write, to persevere, because it's any craft, anything that we put attention and time to, we have to really care about it.
Yeah, and you know what? I never reach my goal, and that is, I want to be a storyteller, to tell story in song.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with, having a nonsensical tune or something like that. But, to actually tell a story in, 3 verses and, in 3 minutes essentially, and,
Yeah, and I think I always take a few notes as people are playing, and I mentioned that to myself, that I thought you were a very natural storyteller, and that I could sense the way that perhaps your time in radio maybe lended itself to your ability to just kind of weave stories together and connect the dots between things. One of my favorite pictures that you gave us was that of the cottonwood tree. And I love words and word pictures, and one of my favorite things that I ever learned was that the root of the word disaster is a star exploding. And so I thought of that star, and I thought of disasters in our lives and the things that sort of fall apart. And then I was compelled to think about the way that even when a star explodes, we still get the light, and stardust, continues to sort of shimmer and glow. And so I wonder how you've kind of pivoted this last year as you've, unexpectedly changed from a career that you were invested in. Have you used that time for more writing? Have you gone inward? Have you learned things about yourself, your culture? What have you made shimmer in the disaster of the star?
Well, I swear I have just wanted to just be free, to have my mind free to write music, right?
Yeah.
Because I was doing radio for so long. There was when I did the music side of radio, spinning records, there was that creative thing going on where you're trying to get a show together and you're doing a morning show or something like that. Or you're putting your show together and then doing news, then your mind is just wrapped up in that. So I was let go of my job, and about a month later we heard about COVID. And so I thought, well, I better do something, so I immediately enrolled in school, and so I ended up taking the social media marketing certificate out at Western Dakota Tech.
Okay.
But it's funny because this whole time, we've all just been sitting around, and what I wouldn't have loved more than just to use all this time just to write. That's what they say about Joni Mitchell. Nobody could ever really date her or have a relationship with her because she'd be writing for days and days and days. Yeah. And so, but I'm glad to have been able to have the time to do it, and the money, the little bit of money I had. So yeah, I took a social media marketing certificate to add to my broadcasting, and I thought that would, I don't know enough about the whole social media computer world, and that really is where everything is going.
Oh, and what an incredible tool to have as you self-promote, but also as you
watching
work
you
with
guys
other.
you guys do doing it all. It's a totally new thing.
There's so much opportunity there, and that's another goal that the Cave Collective really has, is to encourage and inspire young people to learn music production and audio visual production, and be able to take these little tools that we have and then use the incredible tools of social media, which can be good and bad, but to really find those ways to connect as a community. And I think this year during this pandemic has been a chance for us to really see ways we can connect virtually and still be authentic and
true, and still be connected,
and still keep growing. And I love that you use this time for school. I actually went back to school this year as well. I know Dexter's in school right now, and so many of our young people are furthering their education. So I think that's just such a neat way to continue to create, right? When we work on ourselves, we're going to be able to put more into the world.
It's so true. And I for so many years actually wanted to get out of radio, as the jobs were shrinking with deregulation, I'm glad that I was employed all those years, because so many other people were not. We've lost 3/4 of our jobs probably. But it's a little scary. I'm looking at the front side of 60, so
I think it's wonderful and exciting and inspiring to see somebody willing to pivot and
Jump
change and keep growing, because
Sure.
I mean, what an incredible example to all of us. You know, I think about my parents and the things that they've shifted and changed, and how, as I've become an adult, how much I respect and admire those moments of pivot and change, because we're all, you know, constantly evolving. And if you stop, what's the point?
And that's
you know?
really, and yeah, and once you understand that that's kind of what life is about change, you know, once you kind of get it doesn't maybe have to be drastic change like we had this last year, you know, but, you know, it is about change all the time, really. You know, just about the time you get used to your body, you know, then it starts to change.
Yeah, you look in the mirror and go, who am I looking at?
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
One of the pictures that I always hold is this idea of just having your hands open in front of you, because that way you can accept what comes to you, but you can also give away things that you have to give away. And that's a visual that I try to give my kids all the time, as they're now all in high school and they're maturing, and it's been an interesting year for that, imparting as much grace and pause, and also evolution and change and flexibility to our young people, and trying to actually model it as, you know, not so young people anymore.
Right.
And so I have incredible respect for you for being here tonight, for sharing so authentically with us. This is exactly what we envisioned this series to be. Dexter called me and said, I want to do 26 shows in 26 weekends in 26 local businesses. Do you want to do it with me? And I paused for about a half a beat and said, of course. I can't imagine any other way to do, you know, winter here during a pandemic. So so much gratitude for you being with us tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.
Next week, we are going to be with the Wake Singers at Haysapa Enterprises at 7 o'clock on Sunday night. And that's, if you were at Drive Aid this summer, you got to experience the Wake Singers. I think they've also done a few other benefits and events with us, and just incredible, incredible music. We thank so much Christy and the Wine Cellar for having us here tonight. My husband and I's favorite restaurant, actually, in Rapid City, and you said you haven't eaten here, so I encourage you. One of the things I have really appreciated about the Wine Cellar this year is the safety precautions that have been taken to ensure that their staff are taken care of, and that the people who dine here are taken care of. And so big kudos to Christy and the group here at the Wine Cellar. We will see you guys next week. Thanks so much for being here. Check out Marnie Cook on Spotify, you said.
That's right.
Is a great place to find her music. And always, you know, check out storyandsongseries.com and thecavecollective.org for more information. Thanks and good night.